Hey, how is everyone out there? My name is Sarah Buyucan. I live in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. I love to share about life, reality in this country. If you are one of the aspirant immigrants out there, especially those international students, you want to come here in Canada and study here in Canada. I have so many videos. I even mentioned like one of the easiest to come here in Canada and one of the easiest pathway to come here in Canada. You come here, study here in Canada, and you become a permanent resident, which is true, guys, okay? But watch this video before you come to Canada as an international student. A lot of people out there are applying, especially if they have relatives, they have brothers, they have like friends, okay? But the reality is, once you are here in Canada, that's the time you realize like it's not easy, guys, okay? It's not easy, okay? Especially like winter time. You come to my province in Alberta, let's say you come to Calgary, we have like 6-7 months snow. This is one of the most important. You need to be physically, emotionally, and financially ready. Some of you guys out there, I know it is happening, you know. If you have brother or sisters here in Canada, they will give you the money you have to put in your bank account, just to show to the government of Canada that you have the money to come and study here in Canada, that you can afford to come and study here. Remember this, okay? You come to Canada to study. When you become an international student, the government of Canada allowed you to come and study and allowed you to work, okay? So let's say this is Maria and this is Juan. Maria is the principal applicant, study here in Canada. So while Maria is studying here in Canada, the government of Canada allowed her to work at the same time while studying. So if Maria have a husband, Juan, the government of Canada is going to give him an open work permit visa. So once they arrive to Canada, Juan allowed to work any type of job here in Canada, okay? So which is good, you can survive, right? And if you, Juan and Maria, have 3 children, let's say you have 3 children, and you have 3 children and they are small, they are allowed to study here in Canada free of tuition fees from kindergarten to grade 12, okay? If I said free tuition fees, they don't pay any tuition fees, but if there's any fees to pay in the school, let's say lunch fees or, you know, like some kind of school supplies, but it's not a tuition fees, okay? The reason I said this because some of you guys are complaining when I make a video before like a free of tuition fees, and then one lady said, you know what, Sarah, it's not a free tuition fees because we are paying. Well, you know what, if you are going to enroll your children in a private school, there's a private school here that you can able to pay them tuition fees, okay? But anyway, let's talk about the reality of being an international student. So just in case, if you have a family with you, you can bring with you and they can go study, okay? And so this is exactly what is happening. If you don't have really money in your back home, I'm not talking only for Philippines, okay? That's why I'm trying to speak English here, right? I'm talking to the whole world who have planned to come and study here in Canada because this is reality, okay? If you have your relatives, brother, sister, mom and dad here in Canada, they'll give you all this money. And of course, you have the money to put in your bank account to show to the government of Canada that you can afford to pay your tuition fees. In the reality, you don't have that savings. You need to have money, okay? Emotionally, financially, and physically, you need to be ready. Especially that money, you need money to come here in Canada. For the first 3 months, you don't expect you're going to get a job, okay? Because if you don't know anybody else, you don't know nothing here in Canada, and doesn't matter, you apply Indeed.ca, Canada Job Bank, they won't hire you just quickly as just like that if you are not lucky, okay? But anyway, case to case basis, because some people, they even apply once and they just hire the next day. So what if in 3 months you have no jobs in Canada, you don't have money, but you have your relatives in Canada? You know, don't expect your relatives to pay everything for you. Of course, they want to help you just to come here in Canada. But once you arrive in Canada, try to help yourself too. Go to work, because don't expect your relatives, friends, family to help you all the time for the first 3 months. First 2 months is okay, probably they help you financially, your food, your rent. But once you arrive in Canada and you don't have that much money, you need to go to work, and at the same time you go to school, right? You buy your own food. So think about that. The finance is very, very important. What if you cannot find a job right away within the 3 months, and you don't have that much money? You know what happened to you? You will be stressed, depressed. You're gonna think and you wanna go back home to your country, which is okay. You can go back home. That's why I said before you come to Canada, you have to be prepared financially. What if you're not going to stay with your brother, sister, auntie, or friends here in Canada for the first 3 months? Of course, you have to expect, you have to pay your rent, you have to buy your food, your transportation, okay, your cell phone bills, because you need to have a cell phone for you to apply a job, you know. You need an internet to contact your family back home. So those are the things that you need to spend money for the first 3 months of your life in Canada. If you have no free place to stay, if you don't have any relatives or friends, if they don't have enough money, you know, the possibility you will stress and depress, and you miss your family in back home, and you will end up like going back home. Student visa in Canada is not cheap. It's very expensive. Your tuition fee is times 3, okay, because you are an international student. The benefits that we receive as a Canadian citizen or a permanent resident in Canada, if we are going to study here in Canada, we get more good benefits. They help us for student grants. You need to do your own research. Like what I'm saying is reality, okay guys? So I hope you guys share and watch and tell to your friends. Some people, they have relatives, they will borrow money, they will pretend like this money is our donations, but it's not a donations, because you're going to return it back anyway, just to have the money to show that you can able to afford to come here in Canada. Once they arrive here in Canada, of course, you need to pay back all those money that you borrowed to your relatives, yeah? And sometimes if you cannot able to like pay them right away, you end up like, you end up like fighting, or it's not good relationship. You really want to come here in Canada. Canada is always open for you guys, international students. Don't be on a hurry. If your friend, your neighborhood already in Canada as an international student, it's okay. We are happy for them, okay? But if you don't have that enough money to support yourself to come to Canada, just save money, save more money. Before you're financially ready, then welcome to Canada, guys. Especially if you are not a lazy person, okay, and you are ready to start your life from the scratch, okay? Because don't expect, a lot of people out there are professionals. They have their degree, PhD. When they come to Canada, they expect too much, okay? You need to start from the scratch, okay? So who cares if you can be a dishwasher, or you can work in a warehouse, or you can work in a janitor. Sometimes we need to swallow our pride, okay? And people become successful because they never give up their dream. When you come to Canada, you want to finish your studies. After you finish your studies and you apply for a permanent resident, or you want to continue the education you finish in your back home, you can do that. If you are a rich person out there who get used to have a nanny, and you have your daddy and your mommy to help you financially everything, and once you arrive to Canada, you have to do it yourself. Some rich people, they even send their children to come here in Canada because they want their children to learn how to live like independent. It works for some students, but some students, they finish their studies, or they cannot even finish their studies, and they went back to their countries. Money is the most important when you are an international student. But as I said, when you are using people just to pretend that you have this amount of money in the bank just to come here in Canada, but in the reality, once you arrive in Canada, you don't have that much money, I tell you, you will going to suffer. That's why I'm telling you in advance that you need to be financially ready. When you are applying as an international student here, you cannot just come to Canada, right? You need to apply to a designated school. You have to pay the tuition fees. You have to provide all the requirements. You have to wait for many months or years before you arrive here. And then when you are not financially ready, by the time you are here, that's the time you realize that life is not easy here. Then you will just end up going back to your country, and it's a waste of time, waste of your money. And what if your parent is the one who helped you at the same time? And you know what? You are wasting your parents' money, okay? So they're doing this for you, for your own future. for those younger people, okay? But those adult people who are planning to come here and study in Canada, it's okay too, because I know you can manage. I met a lot of international students. They are matured people, they are adult people, and they survive, okay? But for young people out there, especially if you have a mommy and your daddy is rich, you have a nanny back home who take care of you everything, you have to think many times. And I hope your mom and dad, they have to watch me too before they send you to Canada. Oh my goodness sake. But anyway, it doesn't matter. Those rich people, if their kids waste money, I don't know. They are rich, yeah. I never be born rich, so I don't know. Anyway, guys, oh my Lord. Anyway, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you for my next video.